Hey everyone, welcome back to another Master Aiden Kenobi AI fanfiction video. In today's AI fanfiction, I will be covering a story that could have potentially happened within the Star Wars galaxy. What if Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, stayed with Luke Skywalker in the Book of Boba Fett? So sit back and relax as artificial intelligence continues to do a better job at storytelling than Disney, Lucasfilm, and much of Hollywood as of late. The sun slowly set over the sandy dunes of Tatooine as the twin suns cast long shadows across the landscape. Luke Skywalker stood atop a hill overlooking the vast expanse of the desert planet. With him was Grogu. The enigmatic and adorable young being stood with a strong connection to the Force. They had formed a unique bond during their lifetime together, and now a new chapter was about to unfold. Luke turned to Grogu, a mixture of determination and concern in his eyes. "Grogu, my young friend," he began, his voice steady and reassuring. "It is time for you to make a choice. The path you take from here will shape your destiny. Will you stay with me and continue your training as a Jedi, or will you find your own path with a Mandalorian?" Grogu gazed up at Luke, his large, luminous eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and uncertainty. He reached out with his small green hand, touching Luke's robe gently, as if seeking reassurance. Luke smiled and gently patted Grogu's head, understanding the weight of the decision that lay before him. The small creature looked around, taking in the barren landscape of Tatooine. His gaze lingered on the distant horizon, where the silhouette of Mos Eisley could be seen against the reddening sky. After a moment of contemplation, Grogu turned back to Luke and nodded, a determined spark in his eyes. After realizing that Grogu had decided to stay and train with him, Luke's face broke into a wide grin. "I'm glad, Grogu. We have had many adventures ahead of us, and I promise to guide you along the way." Days turned into weeks, and Luke and Grogu settled into a routine of training and exploration. They traveled to distant planets, encountering new species and honing Grogu's connection to the Force. But fate had more in store for them than peaceful training sessions. News of Boba Fett's rise to power had reached Luke's ears, and rumors spread like wildfire through the Outer Rim. Tales of the famed bounty hunter's dominance over Tatooine intrigued Luke, and he believed that there might be something more to this newfound power than met the eye. With Grogu by his side, he decided to investigate. Arriving on Tatooine, Luke and Grogu made their way to the small cantina in Mos Eisley, where rumors swirled and secrets were traded. The dimly lit interior was filled with an eclectic mix of smugglers, bounty hunters, and other unsavory characters. As they stepped inside, all eyes turned to Grogu and Luke. Whispers of the Jedi and the child filled the air. Luke, undeterred by the attention, made his way to a corner booth where a figure cloaked in shadows sat. It was Boba Fett himself, surrounded by his loyal routine of warriors. Luke approached them both, Grogu perched comfortably on his shoulder. "Boba Fett," Luke called out, his voice echoing through the cantina. "I've heard tales of your newfound power. What is it that drives you?" Boba Fett leaned forward, his cold, metallic helmet gleaming in the dim light. "Luke Skywalker," he replied, his voice low and menacing. "I have seen the power of the underworld, the corruption that festers in the shadows. Tatooine needs a strong hand to bring order, and I am that hand." A tense silence hung in the air as Luke and Boba Fett locked eyes. Grogu, sensing the tension between Luke and Boba Fett, clutched onto Luke's robe, his small form trembling with unease. Luke, ever mindful of his young companion's well-being, gently patted Grogu's head to reassure him. "Power can be a double-edged sword, Boba Fett," Luke spoke with a calm yet determined voice. "It is not just strength that brings order, but also compassion and understanding." Boba Fett's voice remained steady as he responded. "Compassion and understanding have no place in the harsh realities of Tatooine. It takes strength to survive here, strength that I possess." A charged silence filled the cantina as the patrons watched the confrontation unfold. Tension hung thick in the air, and a palpable energy crackled between the two figures. Luke took a deep breath, channeling the Force within him, and he ignited his own green lightsaber. Its radiant blade illuminated the dim surroundings, casting an emerald glow on his determined face. He spoke with conviction, his voice echoing through the cantina. "Boba Fett, if it is strength that you seek, then let us settle this in combat. But remember, true strength comes not from subjugating others, but from protecting and uplifting those who are in need." Boba Fett stood up from his booth, his armor gleaming ominously. His warriors, loyal to the end, stepped forward, surrounding Luke and Grogu. A hushed anticipation fell over the cantina as the crowd braced for the clash of powers. With a swift motion, Luke charged forward, his lightsaber deftly parrying the attacks of Boba Fett's warriors. His movements were graceful, yet filled with purpose, as he skillfully evaded each strike. Grogu, perched on Luke's shoulder, extended a tiny hand, using the Force to push a group of warriors with an invisible wave. The cantina erupted into chaos, blaster bolts streaking through the air as Luke and Boba Fett engaged in a fierce lightsaber duel. Luke's mastery of the Force intertwined with his formidable skills, enabling him to deflect and match Boba Fett's blow for blow. Sparks flew as their weapons clashed, casting an ethereal glow on their faces. Grogu, feeling the intensity of the battle, focused his concentration, sending waves of Force energy rippling through the cantina. Tables overturned, sending debris flying, and opponents were lifted off their feet and thrown aside. Amidst the chaos, Luke's unwavering belief in the power of compassion and understanding began to resonate with some of Boba Fett's warriors. Their loyalty wavered as they witnessed the valiant efforts of Luke and Grogu to protect and uplift those caught in the crossfire. Sensing the shifting tide, Boba Fett paused for a moment, his visor reflecting the inner conflict within him. Slowly, he lowered his weapon, his voice laced with a newfound contemplation. "Perhaps there's another way," Boba Fett conceded, his tone softened. "Tatooine needs order, but maybe there's a way to achieve it without sacrificing compassion." Luke, his lightsaber still ignited, nodded in agreement. Suddenly, he began to de-ignite it. "We can work together, Boba Fett, bring order to Tatooine, but with a purpose that uplifts its inhabitants rather than oppresses them." In the aftermath of the battle, a new understanding formed between Luke and Grogu, and as well as Boba Fett. They recognized that the potential for a powerful alliance blending their unique skills and perspectives to create a better Tatooine. Word of the clash between Luke Skywalker, Grogu, and Boba Fett had reached the ears of Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. Intrigued by the turn of events and driven by his unyielding loyalty to Grogu, he set out to join the fray. After all, he had met the Jedi once before. As Din arrived on Tatooine, his Beskar armor would gleam in the harsh sun. He suddenly would make his way to the cantina in Mos Eisley, his presence commanding attention from the patrons who recognized the famed Mandalorian. Luke, Grogu, and Boba Fett turned their heads as Din entered, his presence adding a new layer of intrigue to the already tense situation. Luke's eyes met Din's, and a silent understanding passed between them. They shared a mutual goal, protecting Grogu and ensuring his well-being. Luke approached Din, his lightsaber still in hand, and addressed him with a steady voice. "Mandalorian, we are at crossroads here," Luke began, his gaze unwavering. "Our paths have converged, and together we can shape a better future for Tatooine and its inhabitants. Will you stand with us?" Din nodded, his helmet gaze fixed on Grogu, who squealed with joy at the sight of his trusted protector. "Grogu's safety and well-being are my highest priority," Din declared, his voice resolute. "I will stand by your side, Skywalker, and fight for the future we envision." With their forces now united, Luke, Grogu, Boba Fett, and Din Djarin would set forth on a mission to bring balance and justice to Tatooine. They understood that their individual strengths and experiences, combined with the power of the Force, would pave the way for a new era. The newly formed alliance wasted no time in taking action. They journeyed through the scorching deserts of Tatooine, uncovering hidden secrets and exposing the nefarious dealings that plagued the planet. Their efforts gained momentum as they dismantled criminal syndicates, freed oppressed communities, and delivered justice to those who had long been denied it. The galaxy watched in awe as tales of their exploits spread like wildfire. Luke's mastery of the Force and his wise guidance, paired with Grogu's burgeoning abilities, inspired hope among the people. Boba Fett's tactical prowess and indomitable spirit rallied others to their cause. Din Djarin, with his unwavering dedication and combat skills, became a symbol of resilience and loyalty. Together they faced formidable adversaries, engaging in breathtaking battles that echoed through the sands of Tatooine. Lightsabers clashed with blaster fire, their skills going hand to hand with their opponents. The Force surged through their every move. All of them together fought side by side, each bringing their own unique strengths to the fore and battles. Through their trials, their bond deepened. They shared stories around campfires, exchanging wisdom and experiences. Luke revealed the legends of the Jedi Order, while Boba Fett recounted tales of his own encounters with the notorious bounty hunters that he had done jobs with. Grogu, ever curious, absorbed every word, his connection to the Force growing stronger with each passing day. As they journeyed across Tatooine, their actions resonated with the people, sparking a movement for change. The Alliance became more than a group of individuals. They became a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in the darkness. Luke, with his profound knowledge of the Force, began to train not only Grogu, but also those who sought to follow a path of balance and justice. His teachings attracted a new generation of Force-sensitive beings, and the Jedi Order began to rise once again, but this time, not under the dogmatic narrow views of the Jedi from the prequel trilogy. Luke and his new Jedi would spread their influence beyond the confines of Tatooine. The re-emergence of the Jedi Order under Luke Skywalker's guidance brought about a seismic shift in the galaxy. Luke, Grogu, Boba Fett, and Din Djarin traveled to various planets, seeking out Force-sensitive individuals and offering them guidance and training. Their efforts united a new generation of Jedi, eager to restore peace and justice to the galaxy. Together, they faced the remnants of the Sith, uncovering dark plots and ancient artifacts that threatened to plunge the galaxy into chaos. Their battles were fierce, with lightsabers flashing and blaster fire raining down upon their enemies. The Force flowed through their every action, empowering them to overcome even the most formidable adversaries. Throughout their journeys, the Alliance encountered allies from all walks of life, from smugglers with hearts of gold to oppressed citizens yearning for freedom. The group's reputation spread far and wide, attracting those who wished to join their cause. Their ranks swelled with brave warriors and skilled individuals, each contributing their unique abilities to fight against tyranny. As their influence grew, so did their impact on the galaxy. The Alliance used their combined resources and expertise to bring about positive change, eradicating corruption and establishing fair governance alongside the New Republic. Planets once ravaged by war and suffering began to thrive under their guidance. Luke, with his deep understanding of the Force, trained the next generation of Jedi not to embrace just their abilities, but also compassion, empathy, and the importance of free will. Grogu, now a young Jedi Knight, became a symbol for hope of many, proving that even the smallest beings could achieve greatness. Boba Fett, who had once walked the path of darkness, discovered a newfound purpose in his role as a protector. He used his knowledge of the underworld to dismantle criminal networks and provide opportunities for redemption to those who sought it. Din Djarin, ever devoted to Grogu, embraced his role as a mentor and protector, guiding his young charge through the trials and tribulations of the Jedi path. Together, they forged a bond that transcended mere loyalty, becoming a family bound by love and shared experiences. As the Alliance influence continued to spread even further, the galaxy began to heal from the scars of conflict. Peace flourished, and hope bloomed in the hearts of countless beings who had suffered far too long. The Alliance had not only fulfilled their individual goals, but had also forged a legacy that would shape the galaxy for generations to come. And so, as Luke Skywalker, Grogu, Boba Fett, and Din Djarin stood together overlooking a galaxy transformed, they knew that their journey was far from over. United by their shared purpose and the unbreakable bonds that they had formed, they vowed to continue fighting for justice, bringing light to the darkest corners of the galaxy, and ensuring that the legacy of their alliance would endure forever. And that is an end to today's AI fanfiction, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you thought about it down below in the comments. Please remember to like and subscribe, as we will be doing a massive giveaway once I reach 1,000 subscribers. If you've made it this far, I also hope that you recognize that this AI and myself interjecting sometimes create a better story than executives and people at Lucasfilm and Hollywood can do. We really need to continue to voice our own opinions, make our fan fictions, and do a better job than they've been doing. And hopefully, at some point, it will change. We are in a dark time right now, but hopefully we will see the light of day to come forward in the future. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and as always,